the movie I want to talk about today is The Backrooms, because I went to see it literally yesterday, and it came out the day before that, on the 30th or something like that. Not on the 29th, it came out on the 29th. I went to see it yesterday. These are just going to basically be my thoughts on it. I want to start off by saying the highlight in this movie for me was the set design. The fact that I knew, and loads of people knew because they literally did interviews, fucking sat in the back rooms, that they built the back rooms. They legit built them. Obviously not the whole thing, but they built some huge sets that would have been spanning, I think, pretty far. And I think that's why he used a lot of kind of slow moving shots through this movie, which is one criticism I've heard, which I didn't have. My biggest criticism I'll explain later, but for me in this movie was him showing off his sets he's made, because he has explained in interviews he made the whole thing in Blender, gave it to the set design people, they made it. Basically, that was the whole thing. And it really shows how much effort they've put into the set design, because the Backrooms itself is a character in this movie and should be a character in this movie, because this is what the fucking thing's about. That's another criticism I'm going to say right now, is the monsters in this movie are kind of not needed. Like, that whole profound, you know, if you haven't seen the movie, go watch, you know what I'm going on about, but the whole thing of like, oh, it's they're a memory, the Backrooms remembers everything. It's a nice concept that I didn't need. I didn't need that whole thing, or that end shot of her, you know, being sat there, and fuck, bro, I did not need it. I didn't need it. Like, why? Why have you got Clark, the pirate monster, here? Why have you got her here? The Backrooms is the thing I'm supposed to be scared of, okay? In my opinion, that's what the original series was like on YouTube. I've watched that before. Like, the Backrooms is supposed to be scary. You know, you're supposed to feel like you're trapped, you're locked in this space forever and you cannot get out. That's what this feeling is supposed to invoke in you. And I think the original monster in the original YouTube series works so well because it's kind of ingrained into the Backrooms. It's this bacteria monster that, you know, welds itself to the sides and the walls and travels through the Backrooms. But like, the memory thing was just a pile of shit, okay? I don't care. And this comes on to my main criticism. The characters are not fleshed out enough to have this fucking memory thing. One thing I do want to mention is people are talking about Clark's descent into madness not being slow enough. I think, one, that would slow the movie down, so it's fine. But two, I want it. I understand why they didn't put it in there, because it's going to slow the movie down. But for fuck's sake, like... And also another aspect I think is why Kane Parsons didn't like that, is because in his Backrooms, you know, you can move through time. There's that one guy in the original series who legit is trapped in there for months, but he thinks it's only 10-20 minutes at most, bro. That's how long he thinks he's been in there, but he's been in there for 2 months. Like, the time is different in the Backrooms, and that's one thing I wish they would have explored more, is when Clark was with his employees, if he was to go off, or if one of them was to go off, and then they don't find them until much later, that would have been so interesting to see, you know, in the movie, and would have made his descent into madness make more sense if he explained that. Kane Pixels has said he wants this movie to be a standalone movie as well as tie in with the series. I think that's why Clark's descent into madness is so fast. He wants you to take from that he's going in time, but I could be completely wrong, and I understand why people have a gripe with that. So did I. And then the whole pirate thing comes along. He's not fleshed out enough for that. We haven't spent enough time with him as a character. Well, actually, we spent the whole fucking movie with him and we know nothing. And I know the movie is about the Backrooms, and, you know, I was saying the Backrooms should be a character. Should be a fucking character, but they don't need to... You either do a guy's in the Backrooms, he's trapped, you know, he goes through it, whatever. They could have done it like Saw, where you're trapped, you don't know anything about the characters, and they end up meeting someone, they do the backstory. That would have been an interesting way to do Backrooms, but no. Kane Pixels puts in all the backstory and stuff. He tries to make this profound messaging about remembrance, and does the thing with the therapist from Sentimental Value and the mum. What? That made absolutely no fucking sense to me. Don't know if it made sense to anyone else, but apparently it fucking did. Didn't make no sense to me at all. But like, you can't have sprawling shots of them walking through Backrooms and have that be the majority of the movie, and then expect me to care about the characters when you haven't fleshed them out and have this remembrance thing. It makes no fucking sense, and you don't even need it. To me, personally, what the Backrooms is and always has been, from the image to the creepypasta to his series, is being stuck there. That is the most terrifying thing about the Backrooms. That monster thing is also terrifying, but being stuck there forever in this damp, yellow, you have this buzzing constantly in your ear, which is one thing I did enjoy. He had the buzzing, which I expected anyway, and he should have had, but it was a really nice touch to have it kind of constantly in those scenes. Even I noticed when the music was on, because I watched this in the cinema, he still had the buzzing, which I greatly appreciate. But, you know, having people trapped in this space, that is the scary thing, not the fucking monster. It was just like, oh, okay. I did like the bit with the monster, however, when the first scene with the seagull, that was really creepy, and with when the white t-shirt guy dies, and I think that's because it's found footage. This movie needed to use found footage so much more. Onto my second bad thing. I've not said one good thing about this fucking movie apart from the set design yet, and I didn't even go into that. But the found footage element of this is what makes the original series so creepy on YouTube, and they really should have used it more in this. Oh my god. I was on the edge of my seat, and I think it was the only time I was on the edge of my seat was the opening scene with the async guy and when the white t-shirt guy was being taken. That was genuinely scary to me. It wasn't terrifying. I wasn't like, oh my god. Do you know what I mean? But it was scary. It was scary, especially for a fucking wuss over here. It was scary. But the rest of the movie, when she was being chased, I was like, okay, I don't care about you enough. You could die tomorrow and I don't care. Which is, I think, a personal thing with me as well, with a lot of characters. If you don't flesh them out in the proper way, I don't care. Okay, but these characters were especially not fleshed out. I mean, you had that whole thing with Clark and his wife, but that's so surface level. And again, you either do the Saw thing, where they're trapped and you find out through the movie, or you just don't do it, in my opinion, because this is done wrong. Okay, when you watch the movie, it's done wrong. The monsters are done wrong. But the found footage is so creepy because it's a POV shot, essentially, if you're shooting on a camcorder of someone, you know, looking through the eyepiece and you feel like you're looking, you feel like you're trapped in the back rooms, and it works so well for this element of feeling trapped and stuck, such as in the back rooms. I love that so much. Another bad thing I want to say about this movie. Async did nothing. They did nothing. The whole movie. Oh my god. Your series on YouTube is about async, basically. 90% of the episodes are about async. You have some of the people no clipping in, the one with the baseball, the original guy, who was actually called Kane Pixels. In the original video, he no clips in from making a short film. Those people you have no clipping in, and the car that no clips. Async is what Backrooms is about, and you have them show up in the end for a bit, and you have them looking at the camera for a bit. You don't explain what they're doing, you don't explain why they're there, and I understand it's supposed to be part of the series, but again, it's also supposed to be a standalone thing, bro. They're not gonna know, they're gonna think, okay, I guess they're a bit mysterious if you haven't heard of them before, but they're in the Backrooms, bro. They basically created the Backrooms, okay? It was them. Have them do something. Have Clark see some of their equipment or use some of their equipment to defeat, one of the monsters, or have the therapist do it. For fuck's sake, have them do something. They're just sat there, and then Phil comes in and goes, "Can I ask you a few questions?" Fucking hell, bro. And again, the thing about the MRI thing, that might be a cover thing, because they used to do stuff in electromagnetic technology, which is a bit like MRIs, but fucking hell, let's go, come on. And I understand this is, as my boyfriend said, an infinite money glitch, because the Backrooms has so many levels, so you can do so much stuff on so many levels with this, but you have to have async be the central thing. They're like the Thanos of the Backrooms, bro. Have them either help or antagonize the main character. Don't have them do nothing and just be there, because then it's just like a callback thing, especially if he does nothing in the future with them. They're just gonna be there, and it really, really, really annoys me, bro. When characters are in the movie but they serve no purpose. She could have been talking to a fucking cardboard box, okay? And I wouldn't have known the fucking difference between that and Phil, bro. For fuck's sake, please have them do something in the Backrooms. Have them find something. And another thing that annoyed me was, one thing I thought about the Backrooms is it's not mappable. You can't map the backrooms. It's too big, it's too changing, the time element of it is also changing as well. Like, one of the things I've always had in my head about the backrooms, and I could be wrong about this, but it cannot be mapped. So when he comes in with the map, I understand he's trying to map it, but like, I thought when he came in with the map, it was going to be this whole thing of, will you come see? She'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, you're a bit mad, but whatever. They try and map it, or she's like, what the fuck is this? They try and map it, like I said, and then they can, and then they get trapped in there because they get too far. They realize everything's changed. It's like a maze. They've gone forward in time. Things have changed. Like, I thought that is what was going to happen when I saw the trailer, but just no. It just didn't happen. And also, they escape way too easily out of the back rooms. He just goes in, goes out, fucking grabs a stool at one point and then goes back out. Like, it's actually laughable how easy these back rooms are to escape, because the back rooms is the fear of liminal spaces. It's not the fear of remembering. It's not the fear of, any of this other shit. And Kane Pixels did not come up with the idea of the backrooms. He took it from the creepypasta and from the original image, which means, please stay true to the original image and what it's supposed to be. It is the fear of liminal spaces. And when the liminal spaces were used, I was fucking scared, bro. And like I said, I was scared of the monsters, but only when I couldn't see them, because then it gives the backrooms this kind of aura of danger and, of fear, and that I should be scared of it and what hides within it because of how vast it is and you don't know what's inside there. But when I saw it, I was so underwhelmed. I was like, oh, it legit is him. Like, it's just him. And the thing's so fucking disgusting, bro. And I know it's horror and it's supposed to be another, but come on. The creepiest bit for me in the whole movie, because it's a horror movie, was, like I said, the bit with the t-shirt guy, but I think especially with the found footage was when he goes into the Christmas room, because that felt so YouTube backroomsy to me. That's the backrooms I know and love. That's the backrooms I remember, bro. Like, him walking into a weird room, not knowing what it is, things chasing after him, he doesn't know what they are, the weird fucking Stephen Hawking wheelchair guy with the lamp, like the creepy fucking music. Bro, I fucking loved that scene, and all the fan footage stuff I loved. It was fucking terrifying. Well, not absolutely terrifying, but you know what I mean. It was scary. It was actually horror. The rest of the movie, I can understand people's thing with saying it's boring, saying it's slow. I don't have an issue with slow movies particularly. I quite enjoy slow movies, long movies, but you do have to kind of make something happen, because there was so much tension in this movie that by the end I was a bit tensioned out. And I was a bit tensioned out, sorry, my voice cut. A bit tensioned out. Like I said, when the monsters came on, I was like, oh, okay, I don't know anything about you. I don't care about the monster. I don't care about this overall message. Like to quote my friend, like I did on Letterboxd, it's a nothing burger. Like, the middle is kind of great, with the found footage stuff, and they're walking around and him seeming crazy, but the beginning is a bit bum, the end is bun, like a burger, but the middle kind of has something going on, but it's like a smash patty, it's not a beefy thing, do you know what I mean? Like, a couple of scenes are good, but ultimately, yeah, it's not particularly scary. And also a lot of people have been comparing this to Obsession online, and going on about it. I saw Moist Critical's video on that. Bro, it does not deserve that much hate. It's a good movie, it's just not great, and I can understand why people say it's boring, but for fuck's sake, that's what Backrooms is. Don't go and watch it if you don't want that. And, I think they should have explained that more with the advertising and with the, kind of synopsis of the movie. The Backrooms is slow. It's legit just rooms on rooms on rooms on rooms. And if you don't find liminal spaces particularly scary, or finding yourself feeling like you're trapped there particularly scary, then you're not going to like this movie. I give this 3.5. It's a good movie. It's not great. It's not great. 3.5 because the acting was good. But again, two actors I thought were quite well known, but apparently not. The woman from Sentimental Valley, she was fucking incredible in Sentimental Valley. Haven't seen her in that, go see her in that. And the Skarsgård guy, can't remember which Skarsgård it is, there's like 18 of them. And the black guy from this movie, pardon me for not knowing his name, but he is from 12 Years a Slave. I knew I recognised him from somewhere. He's so good in 12 Years a Slave. He's so good in this. He's so underrated. Like, with basically nothing for his character, he pulls out of the bag. Both of them do. The set design's great. And the cinematography is also great in this movie. Like I said, the found footage stuff is so good, so scary, so creepy. And even the normal shots are kind of, they're good. There's a lot of static stuff in this movie. I found the therapist seems particularly boring to watch, mostly because, again, not fleshed out properly with the characters, but also it's just face. It's like, say something, reaction, say something, reaction, say something, reaction. is very, very stagnant. There's no movement in the shots. But again, what can you do with that type of setting? Cut it, make something else. But I like I said, I think this movie was good. 3.5. I didn't think it was great.